My boyfriend left me.
Damn.
He had to go to work.
What? Oh, come on.
Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, we will see another story of a woman who cheats on the father of her 3 children, gets pregnant by another man, and now expects her ex-husband to take care of the new child. We want you to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. We are on our way to 150,000 subscribers, and with your help, we will make it. Tell us in the comments about your experience or your opinion on these cases. Without further introduction, let's get started.
So 2 weeks ago, my boyfriend broke up with me unexpectedly and abruptly after 7 years together.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So the breakup was really, as I mentioned, unexpected, but it also was super quick and careless, kind of like the rug being pulled out from under me. And I'm in, the waves of heartbreak, kind of really wondering like how best to move on from something so disorienting and what closure could look like, and if something like that's even worth it.
Oh, man. We're not in the same room, but I'm just picturing myself just sitting there with you.
Thanks.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Tell me what happened.
Yeah, so I think, about 2 weeks ago, I thought we were meeting up for a date, and
Oh, man.
it was in my neighborhood, and I went out to meet up with him after kind of like saying like, oh, I'm so excited, we can have dinner, whatever, like all these things. And then I went outside to meet up with him, like just at like a park near my house that we go to a lot. And I had no idea. And I just sat down and she said, we need to talk. I want to break up with you. And that was pretty much it.
Like no prompting, no nothing?
Yeah. And like,
Oh, boo-hoo! Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin.
I doubt it was without warning. A man withdraws silently, but he always gives signs. He always says what he doesn't like, even if it's subtle. There's a reason why they say men never leave women. We endure as much as we possibly can in a relationship. When a man shows up and tells you, I'm leaving, believe me, it's because he's already fed up with you. He no longer has the strength to fight with you. He's tired of asking you to change, tired of putting up with mistreatment, tired of rowing alone. She'll tell the story as if she didn't do anything wrong. But yes, she did. It was a 7-year relationship. There were signs, warnings, looks, words, and you ignored them. Until one day, you simply heard, I'm leaving. But since she doesn't want to accept responsibility, if you doubt it, take a look at the following story.
Did you hear about the husband who's wondering if he's the AH for doing absolutely nothing for the child that his ex-wife had from an affair, even now after he has primary care of their kids now? So this husband learned 6 years ago that his ex-wife was cheating on him. He ended their marriage and filed for divorce. However, everything was delayed because she was pregnant. Once her child was born, it was established that he wasn't the biological father. His name was then removed from the birth certificate and the biological father's name was then added. His ex-wife and the father of the child then became a couple. Now, throughout the whole process, he shared 50-50 custody with the 3 children that he shared with his ex-wife. He says his kids were old enough to figure out what had happened. He got them therapy after his ex-wife resisted initially, and he did his best to reassure them that they didn't need to hate anyone for what had happened. But their relationship with their mother never recovered, and the relationship with her youngest never existed from what he's aware of. Anyway, the affair partner, the one that she had the child with, took off 3 years ago. And since then, his ex-wife has asked him to take an active role in her child's life, because he's so involved in their other 3 kids' lives. Each and every time she's made this request, he's told her no. She then tried to take full custody of the 3 kids that they shared together because he refused to include her youngest. And the judge told her that it didn't work like that and that he had no legal responsibility to her youngest child. He ended up getting primary custody of their 3 children about a year ago. This is because his ex-wife made a few bad decisions. Not only lost the job that she had, but also the house. She also had no savings and overall was left with next to nothing. After this, her request for him to do something with her youngest child increased. He says he ignored them for the most part and did as he was instructed to do by his lawyer. He continued to say no and also reminded her that there are places she can go to she needed help to feed her youngest. 3 kids that they do share together must go to her house every other weekend, and they hate it, which angers his ex-wife because they have zero relationship with her youngest child. It angers her that he doesn't make sure that all of the children have a good relationship together and that her youngest knows what it's like to have a fatherly figure. She told him that she would allow him to adopt her youngest child if he was willing to. His ex has become even more angry now because there are things that her youngest is missing out on, and they are asking her more questions now. She told him that he acts like he's such a great person, but he treats her child like crap. He says he doesn't feel bad. He says that he knows he would have a very difficult time being around this child and they are innocent in this whole situation, so he prefers to just stay away and not let them feel the weight of all the issues he has with their mother and how they were conceived. But now he's wondering if this makes him an awful person. So he's wondering if he's the AH, because at the end of the day, the child is innocent in all of this and only has his ex and no one else.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Responsibility is kryptonite for women. She had a stable marriage, 3 children with a good, responsible man, and yet she still chose to betray him. Not only did she cheat, but when everything fell apart, she ran after the other man, who, upon seeing that she was a woman with 4 children, naturally took off. Now that she's ruined, broke, and holding an extra child in her arms, she expects the first man, the one she betrayed, to step up as if nothing ever happened. She wants to sell him the story that a father is the one who raises, not the one who conceives, but we know that's just a lie single mothers tell. She's not looking for love for her child. She's looking for a lifeline for her own mess, someone to whom she can transfer the weight of her irresponsibility. This man has no reason to feel any pity. He has no reason to carry another man's seed or mortgage his life because of her bad decisions. He is already a good father to the children who are truly his, the ones who carry his blood, the ones who are truly his responsibility. But she, being cunning, doesn't give up. She tries to manipulate him, to make him believe it's his moral duty, and then, if she manages to pull him into her game, she'll drag him into court and legally tie him down as a provider. Never feel ashamed to defend yourself. You are a good father to the children who do carry your blood.
Am I wrong for just saying okay and being disgusted when my fiancé broke up with me? So I don't know, man. I, 28 female, have been with my fiancé, Alex, 34 male, since 2020. We met at a friend's party, hit it off, and have been together ever since. He finished his doctorate in economics just last year. Since then, he has been working at uni. I have my master's in media science and decided to start working instead of going for a PhD. Okay, so the problem is that Alex broke up with me last Monday. It was literally so surreal and honestly just weird. For the past few months, he'd been acting strange. He was making demands and then dropping them immediately. A few examples. He told me we were going to paint our walls back from dark green to white. When I asked why, he just said, "For fuck's sake, forget it," and never brought it up again, even when I asked. Another time, he came home and got mad because I was sitting on the couch with my head covered in a blanket. I had cramps. He was upset because I was just sitting there watching Netflix. Mind you, the house was spotless. When I tried to talk about it, he said, "Forget it, it's not a big deal." This kind of thing became common. Every time I tried to communicate, tried to figure out what was going on, whether it was something I did or maybe he was just stressed at work, he would just say everything was fine, but he was clearly seething with rage. I didn't even have to do anything. He would find something to complain about. The apartment, clothes, me, work, etc. So I gave him space, which apparently was also wrong. I told him I was going to help my parents with repairs for a few days, and somehow that was also wrong because he wanted to renovate the apartment too. Then on Monday, I got a text saying we needed to talk. I knew what was coming. After the last few months, I made peace with it. When I came home, he was sitting on the couch.
From what I can see, this man cuts ties quickly. He doesn't stay behind giving explanations or causing scenes. He simply cuts everything off at the root. Later on, we'll see his reasons, because there are always reasons. But right now what's obvious is the same old pattern. The story starts to revolve around her role as the victim, with the classic, "I didn't do anything," while he is the one to blame. It doesn't matter how much silence he kept or how many times he tried to endure. The story will always be twisted to absolve her of any responsibility. But anyway, let's continue, because we're only seeing the tip of the iceberg here.
He didn't even wait for me to take off my jacket before saying, I want to break up. Then the verbal diarrhea started. He told me he resented me. First, because I didn't pursue my academic career further, even though I was capable, and he didn't want to upset me at the time. Then, when I started making more money, since he didn't make as much as a PhD student, he felt like I should have the last word financially, and mind you, I never said anything like, it's my money, so I have the final say. That's a rule he imposed on himself, and he hated it. He said he hated our paint scheme, the couch, and even our effing clock. Then he told me he had rejected the better PhD program to stay here because I had already started my job by the time he got the acceptance letters. Only he never told me he had even applied overseas. He said a few months ago he checked in with a friend who's in that program, saw how they were thriving, and decided I ruined his life. He said I had too much control over his life and that he hated the idea that I could just decide not to pay for things and F him over. I honestly don't even know what that means. He also said he hated that all his friends loved me and didn't let him vent about me. Then he said, again, I'm done. I was floored. I had already made peace with the idea that we were ending, and it hurt, but after the rant, I was just disgusted. I looked at him, probably with a disgusted expression, and said, okay. He lost it. He said this is exactly what he meant, that it was horrible. We'd been together for 4 years, and all I had to say was okay to our breakup. I just asked if he wanted to stay here while he figured out where to go. He said, typical, of course, you're holding the apartment over me. I started ranting again, so I left. I told my parents, and they're also confused. My dad suggested I reach out to our landlord and explain the situation to see what options I have. I can keep paying rent, no problem, myself.
Oh, hell no!
This dynamic you see here happens much more often than people are willing to admit out loud. When the woman makes more money than the man, not everyone knows how to handle it. Money doesn't just change bank accounts, it changes the power dynamic. Even if she doesn't say it openly, even if she doesn't realize it, deep down she knows it's her money, and he knows it too. He can't control what doesn't belong to him. He can't assert authority where he feels he doesn't contribute enough. It's that simple. I also notice a dangerous weakness here: guilt. Guilt for what he chose. Guilt for putting himself second. This man didn't have to sacrifice his life to maintain a relationship. He lacked selfishness, and properly understood selfishness is not a bad thing. It's self-preservation. That doesn't erase the fact that she clearly stopped caring about him. That's obvious. But it's also clear that he failed by not putting himself first. As I always tell men, you must never lose sight of your life's purpose for a woman. She will not thank you for it in the end.
I can keep paying rent, no problem, myself. He covered the utilities and some subscriptions. Just to reiterate, I never had a problem with this. I saw that he was chasing his dream and that was more important to me than a 50-50 financial split. I make good money and I'm happy at my job. I never saw it as slaving away. I always have the mentality that my money was our money because we were building a life together. Of course, I had my own savings and fun money, but I honestly never cared. As long as I felt he was working towards something and wasn't taking advantage of me, I was fine with it. More than fine. Alex is still mad. He's going between texting me like a robot about the logistics of the split to being a seething a-hole complaining about everything. I'm not even hurt anymore. I just feel nauseated by him at this point. I don't know. Should I have reacted differently? Edit. Thank you all for your opinions. It was nice to get this off my chest. Just to clarify though, I don't feel like a victim. I feel like something happened and my relationship just turned bad. He behaved like an a-hole, but this is the extent of it. Very clearly, something is going on. He doesn't want me to be part of whatever it is, and I have respect for that. Now I just have to detangle myself legally from him, and after that, I'll just be left alone with my ugly green wall color. I think I might also adopt a cat, as my ex was really allergic. Seems like she's got a good head on her shoulders. Someone comments, dude basically hates himself for decisions he took without ever consulting you. He chose his comforts, but now others seem in a better position. He's venting on you and making you the culprit. Not the a-hole, but your man has a little brain and doesn't know what with it.
Hey, bro. What? Oh, my God!
This story leaves us with 3 lessons. First, never lose sight of your life's purpose for anyone. If you give up on your dreams, sooner or later resentment will consume you from within. The pain of not choosing yourself is stronger than any breakup. Second, you must have absolute clarity about what kind of relationship you want. That's not selfishness, it's emotional intelligence. If your vision is to be the main provider, then look for a woman who is willing to build from that role. There's no point in tying yourself to a woman who wants to be an entrepreneur and the head of the household if you want to lead the life project. And the third lesson, never show weakness in front of a woman. Never. Male weakness doesn't generate compassion, it generates rejection. Kevin Samuels said it, and time keeps proving it right. Notice, she herself admits that it makes her sick to see him. It doesn't matter how much time they spent together. A woman despises the image of a weak man. But what do you think about this story? We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. Do you think that man should take responsibility for a child that isn't his? Have you ever seen a woman destroy her home and then blame the man for it? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from the wall.